These are now haunting images. The 8 victims of Bruce McArthur. Last week, he pleaded guilty, the 67-year-old, to murdering the 8 men with ties to the gay village, and he'll be sentenced today. And the question today that's being asked is what he will end up with. No chance of parole for 25 years or possibly 50 or more. Yes. Joining us now is Kim Schofield, criminal defense lawyer. Kim, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
What is the judge weighing today? I mean, a lot of people just want to say, just put him away forever and give him 200 years if they could.
So Justice McMahon, who's the judge that's hearing this, is actually conflicted, I think. And the decision is this: give the man some credit for not putting the victims through this, for saving the court time of months and months of trial time. And there has to be some, and I think this is what he's struggling with, some credit for that. And there's a mandatory life without parole for 25. The Crown is seeking 50. So it's more of a symbolic sentence, I think, more of a message to the community. But on the other hand, this is one of the most horrific crimes in this country's history.
Absolutely.
So how could he give him anything but 50?
And does he deserve any sympathy for that, for not putting them through? I mean, the reality is 25 years puts him at 91, I believe, for time served. So he'd be 91 if he's even alive at that point.
I don't know that His Honor is struggling with whether this man deserves sympathy, because I think we can all agree that he deserves nothing but the harshest of sentence. But rather what message it sends to other accused. Because if our system had trial after trial after trial with no benefit for pleading guilty, and we've heard in recent Supreme Court of Canada decisions in Regina versus Jordan that the system would grind to a halt. So there must be some incentive. But maybe this is the case where there will be none.
And he has a lot to weigh, because the community, this was a difficult case, the investigation, many in the community fear the investigation was botched. And then what the reaction from the community, he must be weighing that as well, because if he only gets the 25 years, they'll be looking and going, again, we're being mistreated.
So as we've heard over the last few days of sentencing, he must consider the victim impact statements. And those victim impact statements come from the individual victims, their family, the community. So this is a case where he certainly has to consider that. But the questions coming from the bench on the last day of sentence were, well, must I give him some credit? Must there be something, some incentive for, although there will probably never be a crime like this, but for accused that are charged with very serious offenses, not to put the Crown to its burden of proof?
And I guess it does weigh a lot with the court that he did plead guilty, doesn't it? Like,
it has to.
Not subjecting everybody to it, because it was difficult enough last week hearing the details about the trophies and things like that. Is there a need to bring those out, or when he's pleaded guilty, why did that have to be brought forward into the court? So
I think the Crown walked a very fine line between sensationalism and letting the community know and dispelling myth. So I think that some of those details came out, and I think it was done in a way that did not sensationalize, but there's the urban myth, the rumor that's out there anyway, so I think it's important to set that record straight. Now, there's also I think within the community, some drive behind the view that there should have been a trial here. Because if there was a trial, then a lot of these issues would come out. There'd be some understanding about why this murderer was able to carry on in this fashion for so long.
And could that come out still? I mean, it's up to him now, isn't it?
Well, I think what we see is, with the Police Services Board, some charges against Paul Gauthier. So certainly why, as of 2016, when that investigation happened, why McArthur wasn't apprehended by that time. So it will come out to some degree, and I think that question certainly has to be answered.
Yeah, there's still a lot of questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And, of course, we are following the sentencing today. Adrian Gobriel is live at the courthouse. Watch City TV at 6, City News at 6 and 5, and also citynews.ca as well. More on BT after the break.